Good afternoon. This is Ray Bain Mangill. Please press the like button and subscribe. Uh, yeah, um, I see that they're talking about IPPs again. I'd just like to say my one. I got done for a serious offence. I was a perpetual robber, perpetual armed robber, perpetual robber, perpetual just GBH, ABH, attempted murders, perpetual. Yeah, so they had to give me a sentence that was suitable for me. It was suitable for them actually, and I went to court and sat in front of the judge, and a woman stood up and she said that a probation person stood up and said he is in the IPP range, and the judge said we'll look into it, and yes, I agree with you, it could be in the IPP range. Didn't know what an IPP was, didn't know what it meant, didn't know anything about it. I was on remand. I was not on bail. I was on remand. I worked in a place called the Conover Drugs Unit. I was getting myself together, getting off drugs, training all the time. Felt really good, yeah. And then I was finding out about the IPP, little bits of it, because no one really knew nothing about it. It was a new thing. It just come out. It was all new. There was a couple of guys in there that was also waiting to get on IPPs. Waiting to go up on a sentence of an IPP. They knew they was going up for an IPP anyway. Like me, once the judge sort of recommends it as well, you know you're in trouble. So anyway, I've done nearly 2 years, nearly 2 years, 3 months, 2 years, 4 months before I went up to Harrow Crown Court in the front of a judge called Judge Slot, and I was with my co-defendant. He didn't do me no favours. He put me in it in a way. He grasped me up, my co-defendant Steve, sorry, but that's what happened. And anyway, don't forget, I've done 2 years, 4 months remand. I'm going up in front of this judge, Judge Slot, at Harrow Crown Court. And anyway, and in the end, the judge says that he's going to give me an IPP. My co-defendant gets a 5. He walks out really in a way because he's done 2.5 years, nearly 3 years. You don't do much out of a 5. What do you do? I don't know, 2.8, something like that, is it? 2.4, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, he more or less walked out of it. So I got an IPP. Judge said to me that I'm giving a 2.5 year tariff for an IPP. But I thought, I've been in prison now for 2 years, 2 years, 4 months. I ain't got long to do. Gets out, had a bit of trouble, smashed up the cell, and hey, forget about that. This is about the IPP, yeah. So goes to the scrubs. I'm still in the Conover. I goes up to a board, sits in the board. They're more or less telling me about the IPP. I'm a bit confused. I'm not too kosher. I'm a little bit punchy in a way, but I can't really get my head around it, what I'm doing. So then they put me in another board for this IPP about just to see if I'm eligible for parole. But don't forget, I've done, but all of a sudden they're telling me that the judge has given me an IPP from that day. So the turn off or whatever I've done in prison doesn't count. So I start from the off, yeah. I mean, they're telling me this, telling me that about the IPP. I've got to keep myself clean, my nose clean, this, that, and the other. Anyway, I'll get in Pete Doherty. I'll get involved with Pete Doherty, do something for Pete Doherty, and anyway, I get shipped out to the Mount prison. I'm getting to know more about the IPP. They're saying that when you actually go and see the psychologist, you might have to wait a year, 2 years to get on the psychology courses. But because I was one of the first to get it, I was one of the first to go on the courses. And I mean, they treat you like kids. They treat you like kids, make you do things that you wouldn't do even as a child in infant school, drawings and paintings and things like that. But it's all about the IPP. It's all about learning your skills, controlling your anger and learning to manage it, calm, yeah? You all do ETS, everyone does ETS first of all, enhanced thinking skills. You all do that, yeah? And you do another couple of other skills as well as that, yeah? As an IPP. And you think, enhanced thinking skills. These are Christians that come in and talk to you and try to show you drawings about Christ and this, that, and the other, and you just take notice. You're not really taking the notice really because you're not into Christianity, you know what I mean? But you've got to do it. You know, do the course ETS, yeah, you pass the course, done. You're thinking, oh, I'm not doing too bad. I'm passing courses here. Then you do another couple of courses. I've done, I've done health course, you know, cleaning courses and all them courses. I've done loads of courses. I've done about 10 courses just in the scrubs. But I'm at the mount anyway, so I've got all these courses. They're talking to me about the courses, and they sit you down, and they're talking about controlling anger and learn to manage it, and look and challenging your thoughts. You know, challenging your thoughts. I mean, that's a big part of the course, is challenging all your thoughts before you even go out. Even if you are out, and a bit of trouble happens in a bar, in a club, in a bar, anywhere, and it looks like it's going to kick off, you could be involved. So straight away, they're telling you you must challenge your thoughts from negative to positive. So the negative thing is, oh, I'm going to get involved there. My mate's involved. I'm going to go up and chin a few, hurt a few because of bottles or whatever. And that's a negative thought, yeah? So you're challenging it for a positive thought. Your positive thought is, best thing I can do really is get hold of my mate, pull him out there and leave. We don't want to get involved. We don't want to get ourselves any problems. That's the positive thought, yeah? This is what they're trying to teach you about positive thoughts, like going on an armed robbery. Being positive about their thought, yeah? Being positive, thinking about, well, okay, I'll go on an armed robbery, I'll do the armed robbery, someone gets hurt, someone might get shot, you know, and I'm looking at a big sentence here. I'll get a bit of money, what, 20 grand, between what, 3 or 4 of us, that don't last long, 5 grand each, right? All of a sudden, this negativity kicks in. I've got nothing out of this, I've got 5 grand, I've nearly killed, someone's nearly got killed. I didn't shoot him, but somebody else did. Look at it now. If we get caught in this, we're in trouble. All of a sudden, one of your co-defendants, he gets nicked for a serious charge. He then puts you in it. So now you are in trouble. They're looking for you for this offence. Now, this is what you're learning about controlling anger and learning to manage it, the pros and cons. Look at the pros and cons of things, you know what I mean? Is it worth it? Should I do it? No, it ain't worth it. If I go, and then you're walking, and then you're talking about coming out of your house, yeah? Coming out of your house, walking down the road. You're walking to the left of the road, you're walking down the road. All of a sudden, as you pass on the left-hand side, this is about drugs. As you pass on the left-hand side, there's a road there that leads to a crack den, yeah? A crack house. So do you go down that road and get involved back in crack, or do you carry on walking? So they're telling you the best thing you can do, well, you're writing all this down, what you think the best thing to do, you'll go down there and just cross the road, don't get involved, or you just carry on walking down the same road. So you walk down the same road, and all of a sudden, as you're walking down the road, there's 3 or 4 guys walking towards you. What do? Do you confront those 4 guys walking at you? Because you're going to be a confrontation. You're going to barge one, push one, and someone's going to look at you funny, or they're going to look at you funny, or whatever, yeah? And it's going to kick off. So what do? You cross the road. So they cross the road. So you turn around and walk back to where you just come from, rather fast and quick, fast step, yeah? This is what they're teaching you all the time, to be more positive than negative, yeah? But a lot of these things, because we are big chaps, because we think we are big time Charlie potatoes, we ain't taking a lot of notice of that, because we are. But if you don't take notice of this, you ain't getting out. Because you've got to go on a board. You've got to look at a board and tell him all about your courses you've learned. You know, controlling anger and learning to manage it is quite a busy old course, mate. Believe me, it's busy, yeah? You're learning all the time about what you mustn't and what you must do, yeah? You know, and listen, it ain't easy. But what else you doing? You're in prison. You're big time Charlie potatoes. You're young. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing no courses. Like that. I ain't doing no courses. What's that going to do to me? Nah, Robbie, my mate's smoking in the cell, getting out your nut, high as they come. 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, 5 years later, you're still in now doing IPP. What's going on? You give me a 2 years tariff or 18 months tariff, 14 months tariff, and I've done 6 years, 7 years of this sentence, and I ain't even looking at getting out. They sit you on a board, you sit on a parole board for your IPP, and then now they're asking you questions. Why haven't you done your courses? Well, I don't think it's necessary. It's not necessary. Well, it is necessary, and if you don't do the courses, you ain't going to get out of prison, And they go, nah, we're going to get this, and we're going to get it. All of a sudden, they get a knockback. They might even get a 6-month knockback. They might get a 2-year knockback. They could get a 4-year knockback. Because what you've got to remember is that the courses you've got to do, in my times, it was a lot easier because we were the first one. Me and my mate Fish, we was one of the first ones to do the courses. So we didn't have to go to another prison. Now, because there were so many IPPs, maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, when you lot are coming in and done your 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, you don't want to do your courses, you got to go to another prison and wait for these courses. You might have to wait 2 years, 3 years for a course. Now, you've got to remember, all this is mental strain on you, yeah? And you can't cope because all you're doing is smoking puff, talking big time Charlie potatoes with people that are doing big sentences but not doing IPPs, or sentences not an IPP. No one's doing an IPP but you. But you ain't bothered about. They ain't bothered about you, mate. They're bothered about themselves. So what you got to do? Listen, you got to wipe your mouth. It doesn't matter about not being big time Charlie potatoes. It doesn't matter about going to your courses because you ain't going to do nothing else. All you're going to do is smoke and talk absolute nonsense to these people, yeah? And you're going to be the runners for them, running around the prison, selling drugs, getting captured and getting maybe another sentence, or it goes on to the IPP, it pushes you back. I've known people to do an IPP of 14 months, 16 months, and they're still in prison today. I've been out 10 years. They've been in prison, say, 17 years, and they're still not out of prison because they don't do their courses. They're not interested. I am a chap. I ain't doing no courses. Listen, I thought I was a chap. I thought I was a gangster. But you ain't, because when you're in there, mate, you've got to do exactly what they tell you to do. Because if you don't, you ain't getting out. It doesn't matter how big you, powerful and tough you think you are. You've got gates, screws, walls, fences. You ain't getting out. I don't think you've got dogs there, but every other thing, yeah, they've got. You ain't getting out there, mate. They just come in your cell later on at night, 4, 5, 6-handed, buckle you up, took you down the block. They're the governors, mate. We ain't got no say. My mate was killed in Dartmoor, yeah, for fighting the IPP. I don't know what's happened. I don't know. I think it was Clive McIntyre. I think it was Jeff or Clive McIntyre. He got killed, right, by the authorities, yeah, by screws. I don't need telling you what I've been told, but he was also on IPP. He didn't do no courses. He done about 16, 17 years. He didn't do no courses. Listen, I didn't want to do no courses myself, but I wanted to get out, mate. I wanted that fripped me. IPP fripped me when they was talking to me about how long you could be in. I didn't want that, mate. And I was very, not a bit, but very dyslexic. And I'm still very dyslexic in a way, yeah? I'm not very good at writing. I'm not very good at reading, but I'm quite good at talking, yeah? So in the end, I thought to myself, buckle down. I was taking my paperwork to my cell. My cell was overlooked the yard that goes into the IPP office, big block, yeah? So every morning, I'd see the women coming in. Good morning. Mr. Ray, you all right, mate? How are you getting on with the IPP? How are you getting on with the course? I'm getting okay. Can I have a quick look? Yeah, you're doing good. Keep going. And you've now written about 20 pages. You think, oh. Then you go down to the board. You look at the board. There's your name on it. No, it's not. I might have to wait another 2, 3, or 4 weeks before my name goes on the board. So 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks down the line, they come past your cell again. Excuse me, can you tell me when I'm be on the course? Yep, soon, Mr. Hill. Just don't worry. You are there. You're going to be on the course very shortly. And you get on the course, right? Yeah? And you're thinking, thank God for this. Once I do this, I'm out. I'll do all my control and anger, learning to manage it. But you ain't. You ain't, because you've got to go on a board. And then you've got to do other courses, and this course, and that course. And when you get on the board, you're sitting on the board with 4 or 5 people that are quite interested in your IPP courses. So they're not talking to you about this. You get a bit flustered. Everyone's saying, well, I think he's got to do this. He isn't taking notice of that. And you're thinking, hold up, I ain't stopped doing it. But then they give you a knockback. They give you a knockback again. 2.5 year knockback I've got. 2.5 years knockback. And I couldn't go, what's going on? Am I ever going to get out? You know, and I've done all my courses. I'd really put my nut down. It took me another 2.5 years to get into it, yeah? Get into my courses, and I've done it, everything, yeah? I was so happy that I'd done it, and I could remember everything. I got on the course. I was a bit nitty-jittery, but one of the women who was head of IPP at that time, on my courses, on my board, she was on my side, and she said to the prison officer, he said, if Mr. Hill has done this, would you let him out? Would you think he was eligible to go on the street? He went, yeah, but he hasn't done it. Pardon me? He hasn't done it. Well, let me tell you something. We've got paperwork in front of us to prove to us that he has done everything possible to get out. So what you're saying is now that this man should be let out. Is that correct? Well, if that's what you're saying, yes, he should be let out, right? And then now the couple saying this, couple saying that. But one day I got a call up, and I couldn't believe it when they told me that I was going home, not to DCAT, not to nothing. I was going home in a month's time. October the 2nd, I think it was, 013 or 013, I think. I could not believe it. I thought, my God, I worked, and then I was too frightened to come out myself. I was too afraid to come out myself, just in case it might be a problem, or someone might cause problems. I'll get nicked for it, and that'll lose me my IPP. So all the time, you know, eventually, I'm let out. But I'm leaving behind me people that don't want to do the course, that doesn't want the course, because there's a course, yeah, called CSCP. It's Cognitive Self-Changing Program. Believe me, let me tell you something. If they really think these members of the board that you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and you ain't buckling down, and you're this and you're that and you're trouble, you will get this course called CSCP. Believe me, you don't want that course. That course is the worst course you could ever come across. Right? That course, it will drive you crazy. You might never get out because of that course. That course, listen, you could do 20 questions and they're telling you failed on one. You think, okay, what was one I failed on? I'm sorry, we can't tell you that. You've got to get them all correct. They don't tell you. So the next time you go up on a board, you've got 10 wrong. And you're never going to get out, mate. So behave yourself, right? If you listen to me, my name's Raheel, yeah? I mean, I've done now, I've been out of my prison now for 10 years. I've abided whatever they say to me, I do. Once I was on a hostel, every day, coming down, signing in, signing out, going there, going everywhere, yeah? Trying to find me a place to live after 6-7 months. I've got a place, it wasn't suitable for me. I found my own place, and they accepted it. After that, I've done everything they wanted me to do. Right? I didn't really work, I didn't do nothing. I just kept myself clean, kept myself off drugs, kept myself away from any criminality. Listen, I don't want to go back in there, mate. I don't want to go back there. I'm telling you people, yeah, out there, I do podcasts nearly every other day. I tell them about my life, the villain and the gangster that I've done, yeah? It's for me to tell you that, because for me to tell you that, right at the very end of it all, yeah, you've got to realise that it ain't no good. Because I've lost my family, my mum, my dad. My mum lost 26.5 years of my life whilst in prison. Not all at one time, but she's lost a lot of her son's life, mate. And she died, my mum, of a heart attack at 90 odd years of age. and she ain't seen me for X amount of that time. My dad died before I went in prison, but I was in prison anyway. He died, and I've lost my sisters. My one that got Diana, my sister, my big sister, I love her to death. She's a bit upset because of what I said once on a podcast. I didn't mean to upset her. It was the wrong thing I said, and I apologise. And I love her to death, yeah. And I love every one of my family to death, but obviously they don't like me, yeah. I am who I am. I am the black sheep of the family. A lot's happened in my life, and I've written a good book. It's coming out maybe just before Christmas, I hope. It's coming out. It's going to be the best. It's took a long time, this book, because it's going to be the best book, yeah. And my life's a funny life, mate, and it's a big stories in that book, you know. And I want everybody to realise that I've gone through a lot, yeah. I've gone through a lot, and I just want to break now. I want to break. I want to keep out of prison, and just be good. I don't want to be in prison no more. It's nice to have that money. It's nice to spend that money to enjoy your life, yeah. But the consequences at the end of it ain't very good, mate. Ain't very good. There ain't many people out there on the street, who haven't been in prison for a crime, or not in prison for a crime, you know. And it's good when you got it. Everybody loves it. When you got 100 grand, 50 grand, 10 grand, or whatever you got, it's good. But when that knock comes at the door, or they knock that door down, and they come and get you, mate, you're going away for a big lot of bird. Yeah, and this is what happens. IPP has been scratched now, but I got it retrospectively, so I got it, yeah. There's people in there got it retrospectively, and they've done 10 years, 15, 20 years. Maybe the longest one in there is maybe 19 years, 18 years. Mums, dads, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts who are watching me talk now. If your nephew or anyone you know is in prison for an IPP, please go in there and explain to them what they've got to do. They have got to do the courses. They've got to keep their nose clean, because there's nothing else you're doing in there but causing problems, getting involved with other people that are not doing IPPs who couldn't really care about you, mate. They just care about themselves. Get out. Do your courses. Forget about big time Charlie potatoes. Get out, do your courses, get out of prison, because that is the only way you're going to get out. I'm an IPP. I'm helping you, yeah, to get out. We want you to get out, right? We think the government took a liberty giving people IPPs, but it helped me out. It got me off of drugs. It helped me off of drugs. I never touched drugs in my life again. It's kept me from criminality, because I'm still an IPP. I don't want to get a recall. I don't keep my nose clean. I want to get out. I'm hoping to get off this IPP soon. You know, I'm really hoping. 10 years is a long time. So please, just talk to whoever about this IPP. If you want me to talk to them, I will. I'll come with you on a visit or whatever. If I can do that, I would do that. I don't know if I'm allowed as an IPP, but I would help you out some way. Get in touch with me. Bang Bang Ray Hill. Get in touch with me. Ask me a question. Do anything. You've got to get them out. It's no point in them being in there. They're getting institutionalised. They're getting their brains getting mixed up, yeah? Brain damage. Terrible brain damage. They don't want to get out no more. They're too frightened to come on the street. Come on. Get them out. Don't let them be institutionalised. Get them out. All right? This is Bang Bang Ray Hill. Please press the like button and subscribe. And listen, phone me. Let me know. You can't phone me, but let me know. Email, I can't even do that. I don't even want to do that, yeah? But just message me on my podcast, yeah? Please. Let's get you all out of this IPP thing, yeah? Come on, let's get you back on the street. Come on, IPP. Take care, bye-bye.